So using the strategies that I'm going to be giving you in this video, I was able to personally build not just one, but multiple million-dollar online businesses, going from broke to multi-millionaire in just a few years, and achieving complete financial freedom, location freedom, and the time freedom to live life on my own terms. But more importantly than that, thousands of others have used this exact same process to start and grow successful businesses of their very own, giving them the same freedoms that so many people dream about, but so few people ever achieve. People like KJ, who was able to go from $3,000 a month to over $61,000 a month. Libby, whose business now does well over $150K a month. And Dave, who grew his business to the point that he was consistently making over $200,000 each and every single month. And there are countless other examples of people who have followed the exact same path. Unfortunately, most of the advice out there about making money, getting rich, and starting a true freedom-providing online business is outdated, ineffective, or simply impractical. Which is why in this video, I'm going to share with you what it takes to actually get rich and show you the best online business for beginners to start. Because as Naval Ravikant says, you're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own part of a business to gain your financial freedom. In other words, if you want to get rich, you have to become a business owner. And the fastest and easiest way to do that is to start one. Starting a business allows you to take complete control of your financial destiny and unlock the potential for unlimited income and total freedom. But sadly, most people will never achieve any of those. Not because they don't want to, but because they've been told a huge lie their entire lives. And so they mistakenly believe that starting a business is risky, complicated, and dangerous. But that is simply not true. If you have the right business model, starting a business can be safe, simple, wildly profitable. And the fact is that there has never been a better time in history to start a business than right now. Because after 2020, the already growing demand for online businesses exploded tenfold almost overnight. Experts are calling it the digital revolution, and they're saying that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And people just like you are getting rich in this digital revolution by leveraging the internet, technology, and global connectivity to start a business that'll give them complete financial, time, and location freedom. And thanks to the rise of emerging technologies like no-code tools and free software and AI, anyone with a laptop and an internet connection can start a $10,000 per month business in 2024. And I mean anyone. As we speak, there are 14-year-olds making $100,000 a month online. It's insane. But even though this is the best time in history to start a business, 90% of all businesses will still fail. Not because they didn't work hard enough, not because they didn't have the right tools, and not because they were unlucky. Most of these businesses will fail because of one simple reason. They didn't pick the right business model. Warren Buffett put it this way: what boat you're in matters much more than how hard you row. Buffett knows that the key to making a ton of money fast is to pick the right business model. A business model that is easy to start, is in high demand, and is wildly profitable. But if you pick the wrong business model, you'll be overwhelmed, stuck, and better off sticking with a 9-to-5 job. That's why the most important business decision you will ever make is deciding on which business model to start. But that's why I'm making this video for you. I've started multiple businesses in the last 10 years, with 3 of them reaching high 7-figure run rates. I've tried almost every business model under the sun, and in today's video, I'm gonna break down the most popular online business models so that you can pick the right one and start making money fast. In this short video, I'm gonna go over the minefield business models. These are businesses that look good on the outside, but in reality are a complete disaster with the potential to suck all of the time, money, and life right out of you. And to make things worse, only 0.02% of them actually succeed. The bolder business models. These business models work well once they get rolling, but in order to get them there, it requires years of effort and money and sacrifice. And if you don't have millions of dollars to start with, these are just never gonna work. And the best online business for beginners to start in 2024. Starting this business will allow you to maximize your profits fast without needing any money or prior business experience to get started. It truly is the golden opportunity of this decade. So, let's dive in. Let me introduce you to the business model matrix. We're going to use this tool to help determine the best business model based on 3 important metrics. Number 1, startup capital. How much money you need to get the business going. Number 2, profit margin. How much you actually get to keep from the revenue you generate. And number 3, difficulty. How hard it is to get the business up and running. So the goal is to find a business model that requires little to no startup capital, has high profit margins, and is very easy to start. So let's take a look at the most popular business models now. First, we have dropshipping. This is where you set up an online store, choose products from a supplier, and then when you make a sale, the product is shipped directly from the supplier to your customer without you needing to take any physical delivery or ownership of anything. The startup capital here is nice and low, around $100 to $200 if you really keep your expenses low, as all you really need is an online storefront and some basic software. Unfortunately, the profit margins here are also really low, as you're selling physical products, which cost money to make and stock and ship. This is why the average dropshipping profit margin is between 15 to 20%, which means if you sell $10,000 worth of a product a month, you're only getting to keep somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 for yourself. As for difficulty, well, it's easy to get started, but next to impossible to scale profitably due to increases in competition and the fact that as soon as a product becomes popular, everybody just swarms to it, which destroys your profit margins even more, making it a true minefield business model. Okay, next is Amazon FBA, which is similar to dropshipping, but instead of shipping your products directly from a supplier to your customers with fulfillment by Amazon, FBA for short, instead you store your products in Amazon's fulfillment centers, and then they pick and pack and ship, and provide customer service for those products. This means your startup capital can often end up in the $2,500 to $5,000 range, and sometimes much higher depending on what you're selling. The profit margins are similar to dropshipping, except you're dipping into them even more by paying Amazon for their services. I mean, these are good services, but they're still not cheap. As for difficulty, all of the top Amazon sellers that I've met have one thing in common. They're in love with this business model. They go all in. They go to the conferences. They spend hours each day in the analytics and hustle and grind to eke out every single last conversion point and sale. This makes this field incredibly competitive, and the second a product becomes successful, a dozen or more copycats seem to pop up out of nowhere, making your life even more difficult, which also puts this in the minefield business category. Okay, next is software, also commonly referred to as SaaS, which stands for software as a service. This is where you would build and then market a piece of software to the market as a solution to a problem that they currently have. Now, personally, I really do like this business model, but it comes with a unique set of challenges that does make it wrong for most people, especially those that are just getting started in business and haven't yet built a 6 or 7-figure business. First is the startup capital required. I mean, building software ain't cheap. Top developers cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and this really is one of those industries where you do get what you pay for, so trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel for new and inexperienced software developers is possibly the worst business decision you can make. As for profit margin, well, this is where software really shines. For most pieces of software, it simply doesn't cost that much to provide service to an additional customer, which means that once your software is up and running, your focus can switch to customer acquisition, as additional users are almost pure profit. But sadly, this is where things turn, as the difficulty for this one is off the charts. Many of my friends have successful software companies, but when I asked them if they would recommend this model to a beginner, the answers were no, don't do it, definitely not, and no, making this the ultimate boulder business model, as it's just so hard to get the ball rolling. Which leads us to the agency model. This is where you provide services to clients in exchange for a fee. Now, what kind of services depends on what kind of agency you start, but we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. First, the startup capital required here is next to nothing, depending on how quickly you want to get started and how big you want your agency to grow. On the low end, you can pretty much just start right now with nothing more than a social media account, which is free, a way to accept payments like PayPal or Stripe, which is also free. And then maybe if you're feeling really fancy, getting yourself a custom domain like youragencyname.com, which is like $15 for the whole year. Now, of course, if your goal is to do this right, then you're probably going to want to get some basic software in order to help you, but this can still be done for a couple $100. Definitely not thousands or tens of thousands, like are required with some of the other business models. Profit margins here are very high with an agency, as you're providing a service that costs little to nothing on your end to fulfill. For example, helping a business rank their website higher on Google takes just a little bit of time and energy, yet allows you to charge thousands of dollars for. The same thing goes for setting up advertising campaigns and email marketing and all kinds of other services that take little to no time to deliver, but provide a ton of value to your clients, which allows you to charge top dollar for. Now, the difficulty here is mixed, depending on what kind of agency model you pursue. Some are fast, easy, and fun. Others, not so much. So, assuming you want to make this as fun and fast and easy as possible, we're going to mark this with a check, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second here. So as you can see, the best business model for beginners is clearly the agency model. You don't have to deal with products, inventory costs, and shipping. You don't have to make hundreds or thousands of sales to make decent money. And you don't have to invest thousands of dollars to get the business running. Now, this doesn't mean that the other business models don't work. just that they're terrible for beginners. So you might be wondering, what exactly is an agency? Well, the official definition is a business or organization established to provide a particular service, typically one that involves organizing transactions between two other parties. But to put it more simply, think of an agency as a business that provides a service of connecting one party to another. If it was a matchmaking agency, you'd connect two people looking for a relationship. If you were a recruitment agency, you'd connect employers with potential employees. And if you were a travel agency, you'd connect travelers with amazing destinations and packages. But in the case of a marketing agency, this would be connecting your business owner clients with potential customers who are likely to buy from them. But what makes the marketing agency angle just so incredibly attractive and profitable is the fact that what you're delivering is objective, trackable, and highly valuable. In other words, by helping business owners get more leads, more customers, and more sales, you're helping them make more money than they could without your services, which means they're able to justify paying you a whole lot in return. So now that you know that an agency is the best business model for you to start in 2024, you might be wondering, where do I even start? Well, just like with any other business model, there are a ton of different kinds of agencies to choose from. For example, there are advertising agencies and branding agencies and creative agencies, web design agencies and SaaS agencies and AI agencies. So the real question then becomes, what type of agency is the best one to start? And the key to finding the perfect agency model for you is to find one that is both highly profitable and incredibly easy to fulfill and deliver services to your clients for. This will enable you to make a whole lot more money and not spend every waking hour working on your business. So let's figure that out together now. Here's another matrix we can use to find high profit, easy to fulfill agencies. Advertising agencies, for example, are a mix between low and high profit depending on how much your clients are spending on ads. But what's not up for debate is that top-level advertising services are hard to fulfill. Branding agencies are high profit as there typically aren't a ton of expenses associated with them, but they're also hard to fulfill and branding is very subjective, which means it can be tough to manage client expectations. Creative agencies are another high profit service, but they take a ton of time and energy to fulfill as you're going to need to create a ton of content. Web design agencies are similar as well. High profit, but hard to fulfill. And unless you have a templated approach, you can quickly find yourself heading down a path of never-ending changes and updates and a long list of nightmare clients. AI agencies are still relatively new and are attractive because they use a combination of AI and automations to deliver services to clients. And while they are relatively easy to fulfill, this also leads to increased competition, which eats away at your profits and makes it hard to stand out from all the other brand new AI agencies around you. SaaS agencies are another example of this, and similar to the AI agency model, they're typically easy to fulfill but deliver much lower profit, which means you're constantly going to need to be going out there and working and hustling to get as many clients as possible. So as you can see, we've got a bit of a problem. And this is the same problem that I had for a very long time. I couldn't find an agency model that was easy to fulfill, highly profitable, and in high demand. But a few years ago, that all changed. And I discovered a special type of agency that I now call an automated acquisition agency. And automated acquisition agencies are always highly profitable, in high demand, and easy to fulfill, which makes it very easy to attract and sign an almost endless stream of new clients. So here's how it works. First, automated acquisition agencies are irresistible to your ideal clients because it gives them exactly what they want and nothing they don't. This is because it focuses on the only thing that clients actually care about: results. Automated acquisition agencies are also what we call an MVA, which stands for minimum viable agency. In other words, you don't need a fancy website, you don't need to run paid ads, and you don't need to spend all day creating and posting content on social media. This kind of agency is also easy to deliver and fulfill services for, as you can automate much, if not all, of the processes. By selling and offering services that require low or no fulfillment at all, well, it frees up your time in ways that you could have previously only ever dreamed of. There's also an unlimited profit potential here, which means setting the goal of $10,000 a month should be your minimum when you're starting an automated acquisition agency. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this agency model. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because I know it works. This agency model has personally made me millions of dollars, and I've seen multiple beginners start an automated acquisition agency and sign their first clients within 7 days. In fact, the last agency I started was an automated acquisition agency, and I hit $100K a month within the first 30 days of starting it. And I want you to experience similar results. This is a truly rare opportunity to set yourself up for life, which is why if you're serious about finally achieving financial, location, and time freedom, and you want to discover how we help current and aspiring agency owners grow, get clients, and build 6- and 7-figure automated acquisition agencies of their very own, well, you can learn more by clicking the link down in the descriptions below this video. I've also linked up another video right here that's going to give you even more details on how to actually build a 6- or 7-figure agency in 2024. So feel free to check that one out too if you're interested, and I'll talk to you soon.